What is up, everyone? JD here. I hope you're all doing well today. Today we're going to be going over the Vosteed Valkerie button lock. Let's get into it. What we're going to be doing today is we'll go through some size references just to give you an idea how big or small the knife might be. And then we'll do the profile and weight just to check those out as well. And then I'm going to jump into my thoughts and impressions for this knife. Let's go ahead and kick it off with a budget sub 3-inch knife. That is going to be the Devo Knives Pony Stout. And we have the Syncut Serene for that full size budget comparison as well. So a medium knife falling in between the two sizes that you see down on the table. So I'm hoping that helps for a starting point for size reference. Let's go ahead and bring out the 3-inch Spyderco Para 3 with the Applied to Weapon Tech scales. Again, if you're more familiar with this knife, that might help from that size reference. We'll go ahead and bring out the Sebenza 31. You can see it is just a medium knife right in between the two of these particular knives. We'll check it out against the Benchmade Bug Out. Right in line with that medium-sized knife. I think that's a great size comparison. And instead of bringing out another large knife, just in case you're more familiar with the Demco 80-20.5, there you go. Great size reference. This is a good size for EDC. We're going to leave the bug out here. We're going to put the Demco away for a second, and we're going to take a quick look at the thickness profile of these two together. So you can see the Valkyrie is more of a chunky knife. It is definitely going to be more thick than the bug out with the Flytanium scales. And then we'll go ahead and grab the larger Syncut Serene so you can see these are about identical. So I think that's enough for thickness profile. It is not terribly thick, but it's not going to be the thinnest knife ever either. Let's check the weight real quick. Let's see here. Come on, scale. There we go. Coming in at 3.5 ounces. I feel like the last few Vosteeds that I've checked out outside of the Gator have been around that 3.5 ounce weight, and that's great that they're able to dial that in so much. All right, let's go ahead and start with ergos. I really like the ergos on this one. Very comfortable. They did a good job with the G10 making it grippy, giving it just a little bit of grip without being too aggressive. It doesn't feel like it's going to saw the pants going in and out of the pocket. Then they chamfered all around the edges, and that just makes it feel really nice. It almost gives it that contour sensation, but it is a flat scale. And hopefully that's coming through. I feel like my camera is struggling to, there we go. It is a flat scale, but the chamfering on the edges kind of gives it that contour feeling in hand. Also, they did a good job with the reversible deep carry pocket clip. Unlike the Labrador, this one goes all the way to the top. You don't have to worry about lanyard holes. And Vosteed, if you don't want to put lanyards on these, you're not going to offend this reviewer. Really comfortable though. I just hang off the back a little bit when I'm using that finger choil. It's nice there, but the good thing that they did here with that flipper tab is they gave you a nice big sharpening choil and choke up point on here so that you can really move up. And to me, this is the ideal spot for cutting. My middle finger lands right in this carve out. I have plenty of room left over on the back, and it just feels super comfortable, way more comfortable than I thought it was going to be. I really like this one a lot. Now, I did test it, and the lockup on the button lock from Vosteed on this one is banging, right where you want it to be, solidly locked up, nice and milled out on the inside. So that's going to help them get to that 3.5 ounce weight. And your access to the button lock, really nice. I did check it. Let me check it again because I've carried it for a few days. Yeah, absolutely no side-to-side play, no lock stick whatsoever. Got a little bit, just a little bit of lock rock going on, just a hint. It's not awful, but you do have a little bit. And I have always said I'd rather have a little bit of stick and no rock. And it could be that this just needs to be taken apart. Who knows how much it's been fidgeted with or handled before me. Could be that it just needs a little bit of more tension added to the spring to make sure that that plunge lock is being pushed all the way out and that it's not laxed, and that that's what's allowing it to rock. But I can feel it clicking just a little bit right here. It's not my knife. I'm not going to take it apart. I'm just going to pass it on knowing that that is the case. For deployment, you have good jimping. You got enough here for the light switch. You can push button, but it's a little pointy for me. So I like the light switch deployment method myself. You can use the button lock to deploy it. You got thumb studs that have okay access. I would say they probably just want to come in here and carve this out for updated or later variants, just so that you can get in there a little bit, or go ahead and make the thumb studs just a little bit thicker and taller. But honestly, I think just contouring it here to chamfer it down a little bit will let you get access to those thumb studs a little bit better. You can go on the top of them and you can get them out, but I feel like that kind of feels pokey, which is why I said if you can, I don't know, maybe instead of letting it step down here, keep this going down and then step it down a little bit here afterwards so you can push those thumb studs out. I think that would look okay. Coming straight out so that you can get those thumb studs up just a touch more. I feel like that'll give you enough clearance. Nice flat grind, great finish, feels thin behind the edge. You got a pretty decently thin blade stock on here. You have a little spoon out here for the detail work. At least for me, it lands in the perfect spot, so I'm able to get out here and control those very nicely. I like that a lot. For me, this one here, 154 cm, finish on the blade looks good. Edge from the factory, as far as I know, this is factory edge, is also good. So I like everything. The only thing I don't like is the lock rock, and as I mentioned, I think putting a little bit more tension on that spring probably could fix that, but it's inside of the steel, so you can't really see it from outside to know what's going on. Overall though, man, that action is really good. Really, really good, especially with no side-to-side play. I think fixing the access to that thumb stud so that I'm not more inclined to go to the flipper would be nice. I just feel like I'm skipping off of the scales here a little bit. I think that would definitely fix it. Or if you wanted to, could you thin those out anymore? I think you could, even though it is chamfered, knocked down on the edges. I think it is thick enough. I think it is thick enough to where maybe you could thin the scales out a little bit more, like take more out from the bottom. But I'm not quite sure how that'll affect the button, because you have, almost a flush button. It sticks out a little bit. I have not engaged with it. Even when I choke up, I have not engaging with it because my fingers are nowhere near it. Left-handed, no. I am touching it a little bit, but I don't think I'm disengaging. I think like I'm just barely making contact with it choked up. Let me move up a little bit more. No, I'm not engaging the button enough to disengage it. Engaging it enough to disengage it. Lord have mercy, JD. Okay, anyway, so thoughts on this one. Pretty cool knife. Oh, you know what I didn't talk about? That front flipper. That front flipper doesn't look like it's going to work well, but it works really, really well. I don't know about from this position, because I know this is like Casey is like, you're closer to be able to turn, which I don't know that I'm in that much of a hurry, but I think a front flipper for me, yeah, I can't engage it like he does there. I have to move it forward, and then I'm able to easily engage it and consistently. And again, that's just for fidget factor, I think, for the front flipper. I don't think anybody really thinks, or cool factor, but I don't think anybody thinks that this is the ideal way to deploy the knife. I think the thumb hole, opening hole, is the ideal method in which you want to open that knife as I bang it against the table. Alternative recommendations, even if you are getting the $50 variant, I would 100% go with the Pyrite or the Echo. I would go for them over this. It is AR RPM 9, but they are coming out with some sexy steels. They have the Pyrite, as of the making of this video, available in S90V. I'm really hoping that the Echo continues to do well for them, and they do an S90V variant of that knife, because I would upgrade. I would grab that, because this is a gift from my wife, and I would take that steel and throw it on here. Unless the handles are very exotic, and then I would just have to have a talk with her to say if I could just kind of upgrade. But if not, I would keep this knife, and this would be more of like a daily type use and abuse type knife, which I think she'd be okay with, because she bought this with the intent of me kind of using it and abusing it. And let's stop for a second, because I wanted to talk about that. This has no side to side play, no up and down play, and it has a little bit of lock stick. You hear it? And I think that is why you have no lock rock, because very tight tolerances and it's sticking in there. Versus with the Valkerie, you have no stick and noticeable clicking. I don't know if it'll show up on camera. No, can't get it to show up on camera, but you have noticeable, I don't even know if I can get it to show up. Or the sound. I don't know if I can get that to even show up. I mean, it is minimal, but I like the ergos and the blade shape and the taller flat grind and the thinness that you're getting here when you look at the Echo versus the Valkerie. Valkyrie's a little bit thicker overall, and you got a swedge out on the tip, taller flat grind, stone wash instead of belt satin finish. I just think the Echo is just a better knife overall. But I'm curious, and I know that there's going to be some people out there that are probably, they got this Valkerie and they absolutely love it. Sound off in the comments. What do you think? And what alternative recommendation to the Valkerie would you have made versus the Echo and the Pyrite? Is there something else maybe that I'm just not thinking about during this video? Sound off down in those comments and let me know. I hope you enjoyed this video. Shout out to everyone out there that leaves the likes, the comments, and is subscribed with their notification bell set to all. I appreciate each and every one of you. I love you guys. I hope you have a fantastic week. And until next time, peace.